and I'm going to start by just wiping this stuff out. So I deleted our tags. We don't have any screens. We don't really have anything else set up in the HMI. Coming into main, we've got a handful of stuff. I'm just going to right click on network 1 and delete it. There, that's gone. And same thing, I'm going to take my set step int and my process here, my sequence, and we're just going to delete all of that. Okay, so now everything is wiped in here, even though it still lives on the simulator, but we're not really worried about the simulator at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by creating some alarm logic. So some condition is going to be activating a timer. And that timer is going to have a preset value of 4 seconds. And we're not worried about the elapsed time, but what we are worried about is that when that timer fires, when that thing energizes, we're going to front trigger and set or assign a bit when that happens. So we'll take an ONS1, which is actually already in our tag table. That's good. And we'll have alarm trigger. Okay, right click on that, define tag, and that alarm trigger will be local temp. That's not one I use very often, but it's really just going one level down here. And I need to put something on these question marks here, so that'll be alarm condition. Right click, we know we want to control that elsewhere, so let's go ahead and make that a global memory bool. Okay, so we've got something that will at least trigger something. That's a start. Let's come over here, and now we're really going to create our alarms. So what are we looking for here? Control C, we're going to bring in our alarm trigger, and that alarm trigger is also going to assign an alarm bit. Alright, set. And let's come down here one more rung, and that same alarm trigger is also going to trigger a notification bit. So I'll just call that notify bit. And let's define both of these. And we want them visible in our HMI. So let's go ahead and make both of those global. Got it? And we're going to need a way to get rid of those alarms, and we also want to be holding those in. So let's go ahead, and we're going to have a normally open and a normally closed contact. The normally open is going to look for the alarm bit. The normally closed is going to look for the alarm reset. Let's define it. That's going to be a global. And we're going to need a similar setup down here. Not exactly the same, because now we've got two different options to get rid of that guy. So the notify bit is going to hold itself in, but an alarm reset or an alarm silence can get rid of this bit. Define tag, global memory, okay. And the only other thing we want to make sure of here is I want to make sure that the alarm condition is gone before we can reset that alarm. So actually that, and the only other thing I want to do here is if the alarm reset gets pressed, I want to reinitialize our timer up here. So we can reset the alarm, but when we do, we're going to reset this timer and this trigger, and 5 or 4 seconds later, we're going to get that alarm to pop up again. So there we go. I think that should be all the management we really need on this thing. That's all the logic we need. So we've got all of our tags set in here. Let's go ahead and pull these tags into our HMI. So let's scroll down here, and we've got our default tag table. I wiped this out, so let's go ahead and start putting some stuff in there. And I'm going to put alarm condition, alarm silence, alarm reset, alarm bit, and notify bit. Okay. And those are all going to be PLC tags. So 1500 all the way down. And we're basically calling those the same things, so they shouldn't be too hard to find. We've got our alarm condition. Now, come on, quit clicking the wrong thing. Alarm silence. That's our alarm reset. Alarm bit. Come on back up. And our notify bit. Okay, so we've got all those tags brought in. Now let's tell this thing which one of those is an alarm. So let's come over here to HMI alarms, and we're going to have, we'll just call it alarm 1, and we want an alarm text that can display, so nothing better than whoopsie daisies. Okay. Nothing alerts an operator like whoopsie daisies. All right. Alarm class. We've got a couple of different options here, whether it requires acknowledgement or if it can just automatically reset or whether it's just a warning. In this case, let's just leave this as an error. And the trigger tag for this, you might think this is going to be the alarm bit, but this is not. Because remember, here we go. We're taking that notify bit, and we can just double click on that guy. And as far as acknowledgement goes, we're going to notify this with the alarm silence. Got it? And single acknowledgement, because we really don't want to have to acknowledge this thing in multiple places, if anything, so that's just take single acknowledgement. And now we've got the alarm defined in our system. The only thing we need now is a place to see it because we don't have any screens. So here we go. We've double clicked on take a new screen or add a new screen, and we're going to come over here under controls, and we're going to pull in our alarm view. And you'll see why I don't like this thing, because frankly it just looks like, I don't know, some old Windows 95 Excel kind of interface or something. This just looks cheap and undedicated. It's an unimpressive tool to me. I'm sure there are people who love it, but I am not one of them. And I know this can be customized a little bit. So we can come down here into properties, and we've got all kinds of different properties that we can set. But we're not going to go that deep into the control. I'm just going to say out of the box, I'm not a fan. All right, now to set up this screen, we need to pull in a few different buttons. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How many buttons do I need? I don't think I need 5 buttons, but maybe I do. Okay. The first thing we want is I'll create a trip button to trip the alarm. Then we want a silence button here. So silence. I'll give us a reset button. Reset. And do we need anything else? I don't think we do. So I'll just have a button to terminate the simulation and get us out of the screen, okay? So to start with, I'll go ahead and set up that exit button. So we want all system functions. Let's come down here and take stop runtime. Okay, so now we have a way to get out of this program once it's running. For trip, we'll take left mouse button, add function, and this is going to be editing a bit, so edit bit, and left is going to set our bit, and our bit is going to be our alarm condition. The release is going to reset a bit, and that's also going to be our alarm condition. So that button's good. Let's take our silence. Left click is going to set bit, and we want alarm silence. And then, whoops, release left mouse. That's going to reset bit. Whoa. Oh, we got that stupid pop-up error telling us that our environment's running out of resources again. I'm going to try to delay restarting the application for that. So let's make sure. Did I get that set and reset? Yeah. I'm going to try to come down here and just close some things. So let's see if that works. I can't close the overview, but maybe I can close the main. So let's close the main. Default tags, let's close that. PC system and connections and all that, let's close it. There's our connections right there. Closed. Alright, so let's see if this thing will let me keep on humming, okay? Let's go to our reset, press left mouse button. We want that to set a bit and set our alarm reset. Oops, wrong thing. I'm on release. Release needs to reset our alarm reset. The left mouse button, the left mouse click rather, that's the one we want to set the alarm reset. And just like that, I think we've got everything taken care of up here. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and simulate and see what happens. I can tell you already that, you see all this orange right here, that tells us we need to update our program in the PLC. So let's go ahead and download. And we know we're going to have to reinitialize data because we deleted entire blocks of data, so that's a fair statement. And yeah, I know that same alarm, but will you at least load for us? Okay, yes, it looks like we've got our program in there. Now let's try to simulate our screen. So I'm going to right click on our screen and start simulation. And I know, yes, we want to start the simulation and we don't care about our consumption of resources. I'll restart the environment in between lectures, but I would like to get through this first. We know we don't have a license, so we're going to be running in demo mode, and we're totally at peace with that. And everything's loading. Oh, don't freeze on me. There we go. Okay, it's still going to keep going. I almost panicked for a hot minute there. Come on, you can do it. It's chugging, it's thinking. It doesn't want to load, but we're making it. Okay, we've got a screen and we've got some buttons down here. So now we should be able to trip this and get an alarm. So let's push that down. And I am not seeing an alarm. So let's check our logic here and see what's going on. Yes, I know, resources. Okay, so when I trip my alarm condition, I should be triggering, oh, you know what? I've got to hold that alarm condition in for 4 seconds. That was the logic that I created. So, yeah, let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pop. Okay, now we got our alarm, and now we can see our whoopsie daisies. Okay, and let me just resize this window and get it out of the way so that we can actually see our logic at the same time. So we've got our little tiny HMI, and now we can see there's our alarm bit, there's our notify bit. So now we can see there's our alarm bit and there's our notify bit, and our notify is giving us this alarm here. So when I silence, boom, look at that. There goes our alarm here, so we're not seeing that notification anymore. And you can see our notify disappeared. And you know, I had to hold that silence button down for a good second or two to acknowledge this alarm. There might be a setting for that somewhere, I'm not sure, but that was kind of a bummer. And then to get rid of my alarm bit, I can just use my alarm reset. That bit's gone, and hey, I would say this demo is done. We know that we can trip the alarms. I'm just going to play with it one more time because it's fun. And look at this. If I just click silence, you see I disabled the notify bit, but look at that. My notification is still here, but if I hold it down for a couple of seconds, that makes it disappear. That's the weirdest thing. So anyway, we're done. I can exit out of there, and